If you think that clearing NET is the only way to take admission for PhD, then you are leaving thousands of seats every year. Most students who want to take admission for PhD, they are not aware of the fact that there are several other ways to take admission besides clearing this particular entrance. By the end of today's video, you will be equipped with all that is required to know about PhD admission without taking NET. Let's begin. Firstly, there are three terms: eligibility, admissions, and fellowship. Just because you are eligible for PhD does not mean that you have secured an admission for this degree. When it comes to eligibility, you need to have a master's degree with 55% of marks and any other criteria which is required in the admission. Eligibility means you are allowed to submit an application for PhD. It does not guarantee admission. Universities may select candidates through internal written exam, or they can use the scores of national entrance tests such as NET or other exams. Just an interview or a combination of all these. Third thing I want to say is NET versus JRF. Typically, there are two broad zones. Okay, now the third one is added for NET PhD. But typically, when you have a JRF, that means you will get funding directly from the government. I often get asked by candidates who are planning to take admission for PhD that they have cleared NET. Do they have to answer university test, entrance test, or no? And the answer lies with you itself. Whether the NET you have qualified is for lectureship or for JRF. If it is not for JRF and if it is for lectureship or for PhD, then in this case, you will have to rely on funding from some other source. And if the institutes ask you to take a repeat entrance test despite you answering NET, then you have to be prepared for that. JRF gives funding. A university or an institute will give you admission. Just because you are admitted does not mean you are automatically eligible for funding. If I have to put it simply, admission will answer the question of can you join the PhD program? JRF will answer who will fund your research once you take admission. There is a difference between the two, and candidates often get confused between all these terms. And this is the reason I decided to make a video on this topic. Another myth that is there is every university or institute follows an admission process which is same. Now there are basically so many categories of university. For example, Central University. Jawaharlal Nehru University, Delhi is a central university. It's funded by central government. I'm from Goa. Goa University is a state university. It is funded by state government. Deemed to be university. BITS is a deemed to be university. It has got that status from UGC under Section 3 of UGC Act 1956. Institute of National Importance. This status is given actually by the Parliament. These institutions are declared by the Parliament and they are given the status of national significance. For example, IITs, NITs, All India Institute of Medical Science. These are institutes of national importance. The fourth category is Specialized Research Institute. In these particular institute, the focus on research is much more than that on teaching. Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, National Center of Biological Sciences, Bangalore, TIFR, Mumbai. These are some of the examples of specialized research institute. So here the admission process is much geared to a research. It is much more stringent, also because of the fact that they are autonomous. All these factors are there when it comes to PhD admission. PhD admission in a specialized research institute, the protocol here will never be same as that compared to state university. When it comes to state universities, the teaching component is more and research is accessories. It is basically used as a means for getting funding. Specialized research institute will question you and will target you for everything that is required as far as research aptitude is concerned. It is well possible that a candidate has cleared NET, still is getting rejected at the PhD interview depending on the institute that he or she applies to. If I take a flowchart form for this, you get a master's degree with 55%, you get an eligibility to apply, you are able to submit application at this process, then you have university selection process, okay, or institute selection process. You can see there will be entrance in national test or other routes. Then you get an admission. Then there is fellowship component. Who will fund you? If you have JRF, you are secured by central government, or the institute may fund you, or there could be some other criteria that could fund your work. It's really important to understand this because NET is just one of the ways to get entry. It will depend from university to university, procedure to procedure. The first route is university entrance exam. Whichever institute or university I'm applying to, that has its own entrance. A written test followed by an interview. That is the usual protocol which is followed. For example, Pune University has its own entrance test for PhD. BITS has its own entrance test followed by interview. Route 2 is national entrance test other than NET. NET has become so synonymous with PhD admission that we are not able to think that there are other entrance exams which give you funding. For example, Inspire. Okay, if you are an Inspire fellow, then you are eligible. If you are an ICMR or even ICAR fellow, if you have a JRF, then it gives you funding. DBT earlier had its separate funding protocol. Now it has clubbed with CSIR. In few CSIR laboratories, GATE score is checked. Clearing GATE exam itself will not give funding. But some CSIR laboratories, I had come across this notification on CSIR website that CSIR affiliated labs, they take GATE qualified candidates and then there is separate funding based on that. So clearing GATE itself will not give funding for you for your PhD. But because you have cleared GATE, it will put you at a preferred place when it comes in comparison to other PhD candidates. If you are interested for PhD in design, then there is an exam called as CEED. CEED. So it is used for PhD admissions in IITs and several other institutes. NCBS follows TIFR examination pattern. So every institute will have its entrance. Secondly, every discipline will have its subject specific entrance. So we need to explore that as well. Third route is project staff leading to PhD. Under this, we have 4 designations. First, project assistant. Project assistant are usually at JRF levels. Most of the time, it gets converted to PhD. Most of my colleagues who had joined for PhD, they joined as research fellow or project assistant, and then it got converted into a PhD. So while doing this, there is no need of entrance exam. There is only interview. Then you have project associate, which is a similar position. Then you have JRF. If it is a national funding project, then the term which is used is JRF rather than a project assistant. So JRF typically means the first 2 years of joining on a research project. That is called as JRF. The next 3 years are called as SRF. All these 4 positions come under the umbrella of project staff leading to a PhD. I have also seen a lot of institutes advertising their PhD admissions as project staff. Then there is a sentence that it may lead to a PhD. So if something like this is written in the notification, then it is best to apply because you have a high chance of your position getting converted into a full-time PhD. The route 4 is sponsored or in-service candidate. These are candidates who are already into the institution because of their job. There are 4 categories under this: college faculty, industry professionals, government employees, and those who are employed in R&D departments. Not all R&D departments require a PhD to be recruited. If you are working as these 4 categories, then for you, usually there is no entrance exam. The funding here comes from either you are self-funded or there are specific schemes which fund you. A lot of the times where you are working, that employer sponsors your PhD. In such cases, wherever you are employed, it is best to find out which schemes are present so that you can get your PhD done. Route 5 is institution admission process. For example, specialized research institute deemed to be universities and other research institutes have their own admission procedure. They have their own written test as well as admission procedure, which may or may not match with the national one. Route 6 is international PhD admissions. If you are an applicant who holds a passport of any other country than India, then for you, the formality that is usually seen is your master's percentage as well as your research proposal. For you, these 2 criteria play a much bigger role than the entrance test. Route 7 is exceptional academic profile. If you have worked in an institute or doing a job or have been working in an independent lab, you have strong research publication track record, relevant research experience, patents, or you have worked on significant projects. These four factors will strengthen your application and give you more weightage, more leverage as compared to other candidates. That said, this does not exclude you from the regular PhD admission criteria. But if there are 10 candidates at the same level who are giving written test, then your profile definitely stands out first. If I have to compare all the methods and tell you exactly and specifically how it goes, if it is university entrance test, there is an entrance test obviously. Funding potential is moderate. Competition is quite high for this because most of them, they are not net qualified, and it is best if you are a fresh postgraduate. If it is GATE and other exams, the entrance test would be national exam. The funding potential is high, competition is also high, and it is best for STEM students. If it is a project staff, usually no separate exam. Funding potential is high and you are recruited so that you can work and get your salary. Competition is moderate and it is best if you have worked as project fellow, research assistant, and best for that. Sponsored route is institution specific. It will depend on where you are employed also. Usually self-funded or your employer funds it. Competition is moderate and it is best if you are a working professional. Institute-specific entrance tests vary. Funding potential varies. Competition is moderate, and discipline-specific applicants. International qualification, the entrance test varies. The focus here is more on a research proposal than your score in national entrance test. The funding potential also differs for you. Even your fees would be different in this case. Competition is moderate, and it is best if you have done your master's or your bachelor's from any other country than India. If you have a strong research profile, then everything would vary for you. The entrance test, the funding potential, competition, and it is best for experience. It is best for experienced researchers. NET is an important qualification, but it is not the only legitimate pathway for leading to a PhD. Everything ultimately depends on your skills and caliber. I have seen candidates losing their heart because they have not cleared NET. There are several other ways. Choose whichever pathway suits you. There is no right and wrong over here, and I wish you all the best for your PhD.